SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So, welcome back, dear students, dear friends. We are going to have another interesting session today on the Indian ethos and the applications in management. It will be on the laws of, there are different laws. So, we're going to discuss some laws of karma, humility, growth, responsibility, etc. I'm going to start with something very important before I come to the real laws. There was this great philosopher, he had got up in this train and one person came and said that you are sitting in my place. So he said no. Then this person said, who are you? And this philosopher said, yes, who am I? My name is not a particular name, Dr. J.N. Mukhopadhyay. Who am I? So this is a question who are the philosophers, they have been searching for this answer of this for a very, very long time. Now as we go into a session, the usual disclaimer that I want to say is that whatever I am going to say, though I am an independent director in few companies and though I am a visiting faculty in some institutes, but whatever I am going to say here, it is purely my personal views. It is my ardent desire that I want to do to transfer the knowledge to the best of my ability to you, because I believe that it's very important for us to know about the rich Indian heritage, the rich Indian ethos and their application in management. This will not only make you knowledgeable about the Indian ethos, it is my belief that it will make you a more happy person and a more successful person. Now I come to a very profound thing. We are discussing all the time between Western ethos and the Indian ethos. The body has a soul, that is the Western ethos. What is important is the body, but the body also has a soul. But what does the Indian ethos say? It is the soul is important. The soul has a body. Have you understood the difference between the body has a soul and the soul has a body? So in the Indian ethos, because when you give importance to the body, then you are always thinking of the desires the body wants, the five senses which you have, So it will always want to see, easy, in the mobile phone is there, let me see reels after reels. Good food. So what food is good? Which is tasty. What is tasty is not always good for health. So I am going to go on eat a very, very, spicy food, and I am also have food in large quantity. I am giving the example of gulab jamun because that's one of the favorite sweets we have. So when you give primacy to the body, you will go on indulging, right? Or you will go on to drink, 1 drink, 2 drink, 3 drink, you are going to drinking more. So that when the body has a soul, the body gives importance. But what I like to tell you is, the soul is important in Indian ethos and the soul has a body. The Atma is important and that has linked to the Brahman or the superconscious, the Paramatma. That is very important. If you look around, dear friends, if you do a survey amongst your friends only, and genuine survey, because I do it all the time, and I say, okay, 10 is the highest in terms of happiness, how much happy do you feel? And most of my friends, colleagues, people whom I meet, they are saying 6, sometimes 7. But you'll hardly meet people who are saying 9 out of 10. Even though you find that that person you are saying lives in a very good house, good flat, has a good car, air conditioner in the house, but still he is not happy, 7 out of 10. Why is that happening is because he does not have a proper purpose in life. He doesn't have a higher purpose. Till we do not have a higher purpose, till we do not realize that basically the aim of life is not to only satisfy my desires, my different desires. It will not happen. So let's say, and I can tell you one very interesting thing. I was discussing with a colleague of mine that today the average person, the you and me, I am talking of the average person, we perhaps lead a life which 500 years back a king could not think of living. Most of us in middle class families now have an air conditioner at home and you can adjust the temperature through remote, 23 degree, 24 degree, 22 degree. Depending on your choice, you can actually adjust your air conditioner. You want to take a bath, it is a geyser, you switch it on, the water gets heated, you mix it up. Even the king 500 years back did not have this kind of life. The average village person had to walk such a long distance to get water. Today you have got very nice television sets, and you're coming up with even better sets that you can have 3-dimensional viewing basically. So sitting at your home, at the comfort of your home, through the technology, you can actually see Paris, you can see Norway, you can see Sweden, Switzerland, you can see everything. Do you think 500 years back a king could do this? So yet, though we had so much improvement in technology, but I don't think, and you will agree with me, that the average person today is more average happier than the average person 100 years back. Why is that happening? Because the more you put in the fire, the more ghee you put, the more the fire is going to need. It's only going to grow up. So today you got one desire, he had only had a scooter. So you bought a car, you are very happy. But within 1 month you find your neighbor has got a bigger car. So you are again back to unhappiness. You got a 1-ton AC which is 3-star, you are so happy. You find your neighbor has put a 1.5-ton AC, 5-star AC, again you are unhappy. So when you keep on comparing with your neighbors all the time, with your relatives, colleagues, you are always unhappy. Now I am going to tell you about a very good anecdote. The reason why I tell you these anecdotes is because through our anecdotes, through our small stories, you remember and the knowledge will be passed on. So we know about Rishi Vedavyas, one of the greatest Rishi. He was a Trikaldarshi. That means he could foresee. Many of us believe in destiny, but we do not know actually what's going to happen to us after 5 years, 10 years. But Rishi Vedavyas could actually foresee what is going to happen. So he was called a Trikaldarshi. He was because of his sadhana, because of his tapasya, he had supernatural powers. So this anecdote goes like this, that during that time, the gopis, who are actually very fond of Lord Krishna, they wanted to cross the Yamuna to go to the other side of the river. But that day, the weather was very bad. So Yamuna river was, in a very, very turbulent kind of a state. So the gopis were not able to cross the river Yamuna. So they are waiting and waiting. They suddenly find that Rishi Vedavyas is coming. So the gopis are very happy because Rishi Vedavyas has got solution to all the problems. So the gopis are very happy. The Rishi Vedavyas asked them, why are you looking so unhappy? Tum log dukhi kyun lag rahe ho? So they say that we want to cross the river. And the river is very turbulent today, we are not able to cross. So all these gopis have very nice, milk products. So the gopis offer something, and the rishi is having the milk product. And now the gopi says, "Hey Maharshi, please help us to cross the river Yamuna. We have to go to the other side." And you know what Rishi Vedavyas does, because he is so powerful, he's such a powerful sannyasi. He says, Yamune, I am telling you in English, not the Sanskrit, but he says, Yamune, river Yamuna, if I have not eaten anything, then please split, give a path so that this gopis can cross. And as Rishi Vedavyas said that, the river Yamuna split and there was a clear path and all the gopis could cross the river Yamuna. But what did I tell you before that? That Rishi Vedavyas had the milk product. So you will say, how is it possible? Rishi Vedavyas, what did he say? If I have not eaten anything, then river Yamuna you split, and the river split. So that means it's a very profound thing I am telling you. At a very young age, I am telling you a very profound thing. When I say I have not eaten anything, who is that I? I am not the hand, I am not the mouth, I am not the tongue, I am that inner self. When Rishi Vedavyas says I, the inner self, that is the supreme self-consciousness, that Atma. And as we have been discussing in the previous sessions, the soul is always remaining untouched with whatever is happening to the body. That is a very profound lesson I want to tell you. So number one, the soul has a body. It is just a body which is temporary. Like we stay in a rented house and after some time we leave that rented house and go to another house. Similarly, this soul is staying on this rented body. The body will go away after 60 years, 70 years, 100 years. The soul will then take a different body. As is told in the famous Sanskrit slok, which many of you know, Vasansi Jidnani Yatha Vihai, Navani Grihati Naroprani. So I leave this very important thought that when you start believing that you are here in this world as a tourist, आप घूमने आए हैं इस पृथ्वी में, you are only temporary in this world, this body is temporary, but you are not the body. You are not identifying only with the body, you are a much higher thing than the body. Then what will happen is, you will get a higher purpose to life. When you have a higher purpose to life, then you will not feel unhappy when you get less marks in examination, when you are not able to clear a competitive examination, when you are not able to afford a big car, when you are not able to big flat, it will not happen. So when you become happy, when you have a higher purpose, then you will also not do any crimes. Today it is there and my colleague was telling me, sir, आपने देखा है मोबाइल में how people are committing such heinous crimes. Why is crimes rate gone up? Because we are missing out the higher purpose in life. So it is very important that we always understand that we are not here. None of us are permanent. Neither you are permanent nor I am permanent. We are all going to go away from this earth. The body is going to go away. So let us live good karma, good thoughts. So with that, I want to focus on the buddhi through which the man has to be controlled, and the man is going to control all the desires basically. So we come to the first law, which many of us know is called the law of karma. Now even in the Western world nowadays, people are talking of the law of karma. So it originated from the Hindu and the Buddhist belief system. The laws of karma are a tool for interpreting how the energy works in our universe. What is karma? You are constantly creating karma from your actions, thoughts, words, attitudes, expectations and lifestyle. Right now, for example, to make it very simple for you, you are doing a karma by sitting in front of your screen and trying to listen to this lecture. Now, there are thousands of you listening to this lecture. Some of you are listening very attentively. Some of you are not even enrolled for this, so you are not even listening. That is one kind of karma. Second is, some of you are there in front of the screen, but you are parallelly seeing the mobile phone, listening mobile phone. So you are not doing active listening. And third kind of karma is that you are listening very, very carefully. And the fourth kind of karma is that you are thinking, how will I going to follow this and make a better human being? So you see, people have chosen their karma. One is not interested to learn Indian ethos. Second is learning because someone told them, but not interested, just going through it. Doing parallelly three things, eating as well as this thing. Not full attention. Similarly, my karma is that I have come in front of the screen now, in front of the camera, and I'm trying to record this lecture. Now, I can do 2-3 ways you can do it. One is for a 1-hour session, the way I have done it, I put in 10 hours of effort. I've done a lot of research. I've made notes of it, made a presentation, prepared. And the way I am trying to do this karma is that I really want to transfer my knowledge to you with lot of devotion. I am doing this with lot of as a puja for all of you. There will be another person who can say, okay, let me make a few slides here and there, and he just does this as a small work. So it is what is there in the mind for doing that same work. So your thing is to listen, my thing is to tell you. But there is a background of research work which I have done before I come in front of this camera. And now my colleagues who are recording this, for some of them it can just be, okay, let me just sit in front of the camera and somehow record it. I am looking at the watch, I'll go home. The other person who may be recording it, he says, no, can I give my best effort to make sure that the recording is done properly? In the break, can I offer sir a glass of warm water so that his voice is very good? So it is the karma, he is basically doing it. So every moment when you are not sleeping, you are doing some kind of karma. Your thoughts, your actions, they are also your karma. So you create karma from the intended actions you perform consciously. And while you are listening to me also, you must be planning that, okay, this will get over by this time, what will the next thing I am doing? So your planning is already started. The mind is never at rest. It is already planning what I am going to do next. And whatever you do, like our Indian ethos is very scientific actually. Though the British came and dominated us and they said you are uncivilized, and we also started believing that. But actually I will illustrate that the law of karma is highly scientific. Like we all respect Isaac Newton and Newton's laws of motion, right? We changed the way in which science was believed. The easiest law is the Newton's third law of motion, which says that every action will have an equal and opposite reaction. So that means if I push an object with a particular force, F, my finger will be pushed back with that same force. Similarly, the law of karma is equally scientific. It is saying a law of cause and effect. Good cause will lead to good effect. Bad cause will lead to bad effect. So it is very scientific. You're talking science. I am saying the Indian ethos is exactly very, very scientific. Now look at the way our Indian saints, sannyasis have thought. There are different types of karma, which normally you would say, okay, karma means the work you are doing. As per the Indian ethos, there is something called sanchita karma. These are the accumulated works and actions that you have completed in the past, because we believe that me, you, all of us have many lives. There were lives before and now this life, and then we'll die, again another life will start. So sanchita karma means जो कर्म आपने किया है for many lives. So this cannot be changed, but now it will only bear fruits now. After sanchita karma, most of us are talking about our grandparents. Our parents talk of prarabdha. अरे तेरा नहीं हुआ, ये तेरा प्रारब्ध में था. What is prarabdha? Out of that past karma that is responsible for the present. That means there is a competitive examination is there. It is going to happen. You knew it was going to happen 1 year later. So there are two friends, Ajay and Vijay, let's say. So what is doing? Ajay is preparing very sincerely every day in the evening. Let's say he prepares from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, then again dinner, and he again prepares. Vijay, he is half the time going for movies, late night, he is not doing studying. That is the karma. So when results come out, because Ajay had studied sincerely, he had sacrificed his immediate pleasure. So in the competitive examination results come out, Ajay has scored, but Vijay has not scored. Now sometimes it can happen, and you know that it happens, that even though Ajay was more deserving, it was looking like, but still Vijay is able to get higher marks. We explain that to prarabdha. It is because in the past life, he might have done something very good, and that fruit is coming today. This is a very famous story of an industrialist, and it is there in the net, so you can see it. This industrialist is now, I'm not naming him because, but you will understand. He is a very big industrialist today, and he was telling in the recording that when he went back to his village, he found that one of his friends, his next door neighbor, he's a watchman in the same company where he is the chairman and owner. Now he was willing to confess, this industrialist, that his great grandfather was adopted by a very rich man, and that's why he inherited the riches. And whereas this other boy, who was a neighbor, was just an ordinary person, so he remained a watchman, whereas this person was adopted by a very rich man. And because of that, his grandfather became very rich, his father became rich, and he is rich today. So this is, we say it because of the prarabdha, that some people are very rich and happy today, others are not. But what is important as per our Indian ethos is not about the past, it is the vartaman, the present karma. Okay, whatever happened in past life, I cannot change. But what is important is the present karma, the one thing that is to be, that we are doing today. If you do wrong things, for example, right? So what will happen to you? Tomorrow nothing may happen to you, but that will become your sanchita karma. It will later on become your prarabdha, and you might find that you are into great difficulty either in this life or in the next life. So it is the agami, which is the forthcoming karma, which is important, right? So you have sanchit karma, which is the past accumulated works and actions. A part of that becomes your prarabdha, which is giving you fruit to it today. And then today you are doing vartamana, you are creating new karmas, which will lead to, based on the karma you are doing, it is going to lead to bad fruits or good fruits. For example, it is common sense that today your father, mother, they made so much sacrifice during the youth. When you are a small boy, small girl, your parents took so much care of you, and today you are a strong young man. And with passage of time, your father has become 75, 80, mother has become 75, 80. So should you care for them, or should you just not bother about them and leave them? Some people are sending, today why is it happening that there is such a huge growth of old age homes in India? It is because the current generation is not interested to take care of their next generation, the senior generation. But they have a lot of time for their own children. But they are forgetting, my friends, that the boy or girl who is today 30, 35 will one day become 85, 90, 95. And when you do bad karma like this, when you misbehave with your father, mother, one day that may come back to you, not tomorrow, not day after tomorrow, but maybe when you are 85, 90. So I leave you with this, that this is not a theoretical slide. I'll appeal to you with folded hands that forget about your prarabdha, but please focus on doing good karma. So is it not very scientific? Cause and effect, that is what science is all about. And look at our Indian ethos. It is talking about in a most scientific way that this whole karma thing is basically the law of cause and effect. So whatever thoughts or energy you put out, you get back, good or bad. And in order to get what you want, you have to embody and be worthy of those things. So you have heard of this famous Western concept that whatever you reap, you shall sow. Right? अगर आप आम का बीज बोगे तो वहाँ से आम का फल ही निकलेगा. If you sow seeds, mango seeds, mango will come out. If you sow cactus seeds, then cactus will come out of it. So it is very important that you must have a life of self-control, and you take the effort, you are able to control through your buddhi, your reins of your horses, of the desires, and don't go carried away with what your neighbor is doing, what your uncle, auntie, relatives are doing, your cousin, brother, cousin, sister is doing. You have a conscience. It will tell you what is the correct thing for you and what is not the wrong thing for you. So therefore, whether someone is watching you or not watching you, you shall not do anything wrong. That is very important. And ultimately, ethics is when you are doing the correct thing when no one else is watching you. That is very important. When all over cameras are written, then I know I'm being watched, I'm a good person. But when I know that there are no cameras, this thing, and let's say my colleague, I'm just giving a small example, his hard-earned money, he's put 10,000 rupees on the table, it fell down. There are no cameras. So the initial temptation is, let me take up the 10,000 rupees because there are no cameras, so no one can find out. But if you are a good person, you will not do that. It's a small example I'm giving. I'm giving bigger crimes also. So it is not a question of whether police is there, whether I'll be caught or not. You know that you are not doing the correct thing. So don't do it. So therefore, I'm saying a fear, a dar of something which is of a bad consequence, please be very fearful of that. That bad karma, if you do, it might lead to bad fruits. One more thing which is there in the Indian ethos is, it is very lofty. So it says what is very dear to us is our children, our son, daughter are very dear to us. But the Indian ethos says that if you do wrong things, not only it may have a bearing on you, it might have a bearing on your children also. And the result will not happen tomorrow. It can happen after many years. So be very careful. So I'm giving a solution also. My solution I'm giving to you. Lead a simple life. A life with less desires, less kamana and vasana. If you control your vasana and kamana, then you'll be able to lead a much happier life. Now from karma we come to nishkam karma, right? Where you are doing karma without thinking about the fruits of the karma. Now in India in particular, the sun devata is worshipped. I think all our grandfathers, we are staying in village, and in the morning they will go and look at the sun and make a prayer, whatever, Om Jabakushum Sankashan, Kashyapyang Mahaduting. So they will look at the sun and pray to God. And your grandparents did, my grandfather did, so it is all of us are doing. Why? Because the sun is the elixir of our life. From the sun only we get the energy. If sun is not there, there is no life. So we are thanking the sun god. Now, in our generation, we work very late night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Most of us get up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So we don't go and pray to the sun god anymore. We don't have time, even if our grandfather told us. We think it is all bad things they're telling us. But look at it. Because we are not going and praying to sun god, but the sun is still giving the same amount of light to us, same amount of energy to us. Because the sun god is doing nishkam karma. It is not worried whether we are praising him or praying to him or not. The other thing is the sunlight. There are good people in this earth and there are bad people in this earth, but the sun is so equal. We are talking of equality as a good leader. The sun gives the same amount of light both to the good persons and to the bad persons. So therefore, whom do we worship? We worship that who is a leader, who has got qualities like a leader. So isn't sun, should we not be like the sun? If you want to be a good leader, you want to have a lot of followers, should we not like be the sun? That we are going on like the sun. Every day, every minute, it is doing work, karma. And what is doing? Nishkam karma. It is not expecting anything from us, whether we worship it, whether we don't worship it. The sun will still give the light and energy to us, by which we sustain our life. The sun is equal to the good man and the bad man. So that is what a good leader should be, as we are telling in the previous discussions. We have to be equal to everyone. We should never have, it is a very bad thing if someone says that this leader does partiality. If you are seen as a partial leader, there are many followers who will not be able to, will not follow you at all. They might work out of fear for you, but they